Welcome to DesignerDigitals Bi-Weekly Tip, October 26, 2018. This week, how to create a resist effect title in Photoshop and Elements Part 2. In the previous tip, we took a look at recreating a resist technique digitally. This technique gives the appearance of paint washed over a word which has been written in wax. The beautiful effect can be created using a few DesignerDigitals products and a gradient. But it can also be produced using those same products and a digital paintbrush. Here's how. Begin by selecting a title from Katie Petit's Sketchy Sentiment Spot series, and then select a watery photo mask. Watery photo mask number 14 or watery photo mask number 6 would make especially good choices for this technique. Then load a paintbrush into Photoshop. Katie Petit's watery spots, brushes, and stamps are a good choice for this technique. For the sample, I used watery spots, brushes, and stamps number 8. If you need a refresher on how to load brushes into the software, check out the How to Load and Use Brushes video tip on the DesignerDigitals blog. In your software, open a new blank document, the sentiment you're using, and the watery mask of your choice. Using the Move tool, drag the watery mask onto the new blank document. Then drag the sentiment on top of the watery mask. Resize and reposition the title or the mask so that the watery mask comes just outside the sentiment. To resize, select the mask layer and press Ctrl-T or on a Mac system Command-T on your keyboard. This gives you a bounding box around the image. Shift and drag the corner handles to resize the mask. If you're getting a funhouse effect, you're probably in a different version of the software. So if it's getting warped out of shape, don't hold the Shift key. Just grab the handle and drag. To twist or turn the mask, hover the cursor outside a corner until the cursor changes to a curved arrow. When that curved arrow is active, click and drag to turn the mask layer. When you're satisfied with the way it looks, tick the check mark. It'll be up here in the options bar in Photoshop, but it will be below the image in Elements. Next, select the sentiment layer and press Ctrl-U or on a Mac system Command-U on the keyboard. This activates the Hue Saturation dialog box. Drag the lightness slider all the way to the right or type in 100% here and click OK. The sentiment now will be white. Next, follow these steps to paint the mask. Select the mask layer in the Layers panel and then Control-click or on a Mac system Command-click on the thumbnail image of the mask in the Layers panel. And this places a selection that looks like marching ants around the mask image. Hide the black mask layer by clicking the layer visibility icon on the left side of the layer. It looks like a little eyeball. Now you'll see that you have the marching ants on your document, but the mask is no longer visible. Next, create a new layer by clicking the Create a New Layer icon in the Layers panel. It looks like a little square with a turned up corner. Making sure that the new layer is selected or highlighted here in the Layers panel, get the Brush tool. From the tool options, choose one of the watery paintbrushes in the set that you installed earlier in the tip. Remember that you can reduce the size of the brush by pressing the left bracket key on the keyboard. And you can increase the size of the mask by pressing the right bracket key on your keyboard. At the bottom of the Tools panel, click the top foreground color to select it. This is going to be your paint color. When you make a selection, click OK. And then click the background or the back chip to select a background color. When you find the one you want, click OK. You can also use the eyedropper to pick up color from your digital project while you're working in the color picker. If you're working in Elements, click the Brush Settings in the Tool options at the bottom of the screen. Move the Scatter slider all the way to the right. It's the third one down. You want it at 100%. I've left everything else at the default, which means that the spacing is 25%. Click several times on the document, and then click the curved arrow between the foreground and the background to change the brush color, and click again several times. Keep switching colors and clicking to fill the selection with painted color. When you're satisfied with the look, press Ctrl D or on a Mac system Command D to remove the marching ants. If you're working in the full version of Photoshop, choose Window, Brush Settings from the menu bar. This opens up the brush options. Change the settings to your liking. Here are the settings that I used. Under Brush Tip Shape, I set the spacing to 25%. I think that's the default. Under Shape Dynamics, go ahead and tick that, and under Size Jitter, change that to 20%. Change the angle jitter to 30%. Then tick Scattering, and change the scatter here at the top to 245%. Next, click Color Dynamics and set the foreground background jitter to 100% with purity at 100%. I'm going to drag this over just to get it out of the way so it's not blocking our view. Click within the selection several times to fill it with color and get the look that you want. Press Ctrl D or on a Mac system Command D to remove the marching ants. This is an interesting way to use digital products to splash color behind a title for your digital project. Thanks so much for watching this week's video, and be sure to check back in 2 weeks for another Designer Digitals tip.